Part A, Chapter 4, Alternative Centers of Economic and Political Power. After the end of the Second World War, Cold War started between the superpowers, United States and the Soviet Union. The Cold War came to an end with the disintegration of Soviet Union in the last part of 1990, that is 1991. After the disintegration of Soviet Union, US became the sole superpower and no country could challenge its supremacy. There arose a need to challenge the hegemony and dominance that US enjoyed in world politics. On the other hand, European Union and Association of Southeast Asian Nations came up as alternative centers of power. These two associations have been trying to maintain peace in Europe and Southeast Asia, respectively, and are working for cooperation and economic development of the concerned region or area. More importantly, the emergence of China as an economic power has brought a dramatic change to the arena of the international politics. In this chapter, we will look at these issues and try to find out what are the alternative centers of power that can challenge US hegemony. European Union. After the end of the Second World War, the economic infrastructure of the Europe or European countries completely collapsed. These countries tried to overcome the enmity that they felt during the world wars and was towards international cooperation. Post 1945 of the Cold War between the US and the Soviet Union and the competition for influence promoted the reconstruction of the European Union or European countries. US helped the reconstruction of the economies of these countries through its Marshall Plan, and moreover, under NATO, these countries were provided collective security, means cooperative helps, securities, to support East European countries under the Marshall Plan. The Organization for European Economic Cooperation or OEEC was established in 1948. Through these European countries got economic help and support. Similarly, for political and cooperation, the Council of Europe was established in 1949. As a result, the capitalist country of the Europe could go for economic cooperation, and this led to the formation of European Economic Community EEC in 1957. The 6 countries which signed a charter in Rome for the formation of European Economic Community are Belgium, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, and West Germany. The European Parliament was formed through the method laid down by this chapter just I mentioned right now. A new regional organization was formed in 1992 in Europe soon after the disintegration of Soviet Union. The organization was named as European Union, or in a smaller way we can say EU. Through the European Union, European countries formulated a common foreign policy and collective security policy and also introduced the use of a single currency. This currency is called Euro, which initially European Union was an economic organization. It gradually entered the political sphere and started behaving like a nation state, which we will discuss about nation state after some classes. And relatively, we already discussed non-state actors. Nation state will be discussed in later classes. It has its own national flag, national song, and currency. Moreover, European Union is looking for including new member states. It mainly focuses on the countries which became independent after the disintegration of Soviet Union, but this is a difficult task, as the citizens of these countries are not ready to sacrifice their new established sovereignty to European Union. It is a relatively common thing. At present, European Union have almost 28 member countries. Croatia became the latest member state of European Union as it joined the organization um, in 2013. The European Union has made considerable influence in the economic, political, diplomatic, and military spheres. Its influence has been discussed, like economic sphere. In case of economic sphere, challenges the dominance of US dollar. That means they are trying to make the market by European system, or the exchange currency like euro instead of dollar. So European Union's share of the world trade is 3 times than that of the US. European Union has been successful in spreading its economic influence in Asia and Africa. It has been influencing the World Trade Organization's WTO even as a powerful bloc. Even in political and diplomatic sphere, European Union has been successful in spreading its influence in the political and diplomatic sphere. Two of its member states, like Britain and France, are permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. It's really important thing. Moreover, many of its other member states are temporarily members of the United Nations Security Council. Because of this, European Union has been getting opportunity to resist some policies of United States. European Union prefers to solve problems through negotiations and diplomatic talks rather than the use of military force. And even in military sphere, if we look at the military strength European Union, we will find that it is at the second place at the most powerful in the world after United States. European Union spends the largest amount of money on military expenditure. Two member states like of European Union, that is Britain and France, are nuclear power holder, and another challenging thing, and they have around 550 nuclear weapons. In case of space research and technology, European Union occupies the second position in the world after NASA. That means holding various important places by the European states. Those were the members. We can say the European Union as an international organization has succeeded in spreading its influence in economy, political, and social spheres of the world. Keeping in mind the technological development in the world, it also focuses on scientific research and development. Separate policies of European Union as in nations. Although the member states of the European Union formulates common policy in social, political, and military spheres, sometimes the member countries take individual decisions, particularly in case of foreign and military policy. When US attacked Iraq, Britain, along with some new member states of European Union, joined the US-led coalition of willing, which we already discussed. But on the other hand, European Union members like Germany and France initially opposed US attack on Iraq. Another particularity of European Union was that the decision of the British Prime Minister to keep Britain away from European market. It was another strategy. On the other hand, Maastricht Treaty, which was signed among European Union members on 7th February 1992, talked about the adoption of the common currency of euro. You should remember it. Such differences among the European Union member states limit the ability of European Union to act freely in case of foreign relations and defense. Yes, we know that all the child of a good parents of the good parents are not same. Some some children are good, but not all child is the same position. Association of the Southeast Asian nations, it is another important point. Asian Association of that is which is basically the alternative centers of power than European Union. So first we find US is ultimately powerful. Then we find alternative centers like European Union, means the European states, and another point we find in the Asian States Association, that is called ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. During the time of the Second World War, the Southeast Asian nations were economically very backward and underdeveloped. The reason behind this is that these countries suffered from the colonial control and exploitation of European countries, along with Japan. After the end of the Second World War, these countries faced newer challenges like reconstructing, structuring their countries, and eradicating poverty and economic backwardness, which we already discussed in our Marshall Plan, even in our first chapter of Cold War. Moreover, during the Cold War, the two superpowers, USA and Soviet Union, started developing friendly relations and making alliance with the newer countries. These two superpowers pressurized the Southeast Asian states or countries consistently to join their blocs, but these countries didn't join either blocs. Some of them didn't join. These countries also didn't want to be a part of the non-aligned movement. Instead, these countries formed a separate organization for themselves, namely Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, ASEAN. So it is now you understand different from non-aligned movement. So ASEAN was formed in 1967. The founder of it was an alternative center of power in Asia. The founder member of states of ASEAN are Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. You find in your book. These 5 countries signed the Bangkok Declaration and established ASEAN. Gradually, some other countries like Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, and others, they joined and finally went up an organization of the 10 members. The main aim of the ASEAN is to focus on economic development and try to bring social and cultural development in the region of that area. But India is not a member of the ASEAN. You should remember it. Its secondary aim is to ensure peace and stability in Asia through rule of law and UN Charter. And the motto of the ASEAN is to one vision, one identity, one community. Asian countries follow the Asian way. It is a form of interaction that is informal, confrontational, or what should I say? It is simply a cooperative way, keeping in mind the fact piece of the global development. ASEAN has not limited its aim to economic and social spheres only. The ASEAN has made its broader way by forming 3 pillars. These 3 pillars are basically Asian Security Community, Asian Economic Community, Asian Socio-Cultural Community. The objectives of these 3 pillars are mainly giving importance to their respective ways. Like I'm just reading out these things, like the objectives of Asian Security Community, like the main aim behind establishment of this body is to ensure that the border disputes between the member states of the Southeast Asia do not transform into an armed conflict, and countries cannot can live peacefully, maintain neutrality, not interfering in internal affairs of other countries, and respect each other's sovereignty. For this, the number of treaties were signed till 2003 to ensure coordination in security and foreign policies of the member states. Asian Regional Forum ARF was set up in 1994, and same like the objectives of Asian economic and Asian socio-cultural community are more or less same, like to provide common market and production system to Asian members, to bring about the social and economic development of the region, to improve the economic system so that their market system can run smoothly. Then after we can say common identity, to build a caring and sharing society inclusive of all things, like living standard, well-being, welfare state, child education, then increase the education literacy level, these and these things. Finally, when we observe that ASEAN, ASEAN, Asian, there India is not a member of ASEAN, but there is a vision of ASEAN, and you find in your book the ASEAN Vision 2020, which already crossed, but somehow it is managed. So ASEAN Vision 2020 we must read, because it had a great impact during even in our even in our student life also. It had a great vision. We generally got the information about some visions, and finally when it established its vision in our first about my first experience as a teacher, I find it very clear. Like if we take a close look, then we will see that ASEAN is becoming a very powerful regional organization. ASEAN's vision is to play a crucial role in international politics and gradually enter into the international arena. For this, ASEAN is trying to resolve the conflicts in the region through peaceful negotiations. ASEAN has been able to solve the conflict in like Cambodia, East Timor, yes, really, etc. So the process of mediation, although during the Cold War period, India didn't give much importance to ASEAN. After the end of the Cold War, India signed Free Trade Area, FTA. So FTA, it was a treaty with Singapore and Thailand. India signed it. In ASEAN is the only institution of the Asian continent where powerful nations of Asia, the world can discuss about the politics and security, and India now also looking at close contact with the Asian system. So that's all for today's class. We will discuss other things like India and Asia and rise of other states in alternative centers of power. तो आज के छुट्टी।